Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, this is my official, and we're gonna do it in front of the camera this time because those videos where I'm not in the camera, I'm getting kind of sick of them. So, this is the official post-fight review for Errol Spence Jr. versus Shawn Porter. These are my thoughts on the fight because a lot of you guys, I wasn't live for the fight because I was in Atlanta covering a local fight there. Gonna have some stuff on that coming out soon, but. Well, I had a chance to watch Errol Spence versus Shawn Porter this morning, and I wanted to just give my take on it. So, first of all, credit goes to both fighters. It was an absolutely exceptional night of boxing. It was an exceptional fight. It was one of the best fights of the year. I think we can all say that much. But Errol Spence got the decision. He won, and fair play to him. He's the unified champion now. We'll get into how that impacts the welterweight division and things of that nature, and where he goes moving forward in later videos. But for this fight, we're going to go round by round, and we are going to dissect this piece by piece, punch by punch, brick by brick, as we do here on True School Sports. So let's start off. Okay, so in round one, the fight, the tone of the fight was set early in this fight by both fighters. In round one, we saw Shawn Porter doing a lot of boxing and moving early on. Giving Errol Spence a lot of angles, turning him, just trying to show him different looks. Early on, obviously, he's missing with a lot of punches because he's trying to gauge the distance of Errol Spence and whatnot. So there was some trial and error in the early rounds with this from Shawn Porter, and this was the first round of that. He was missing with a lot of punches early on. Errol was holding his ground. He was holding his ground. You didn't see him waste a lot of movement with his feet. And he only really moved in this particular round when he jabbed. So he would move with his jab. And in this round, he was a more accurate puncher. We saw him going to the body in this round, landing the right hook to the body, the left hand to the body, doing the more consistent work, fighting the more complete round. So for these reasons, I gave Errol Spence the first round. In round two, Shawn Porter begins to find success. This is where Porter began to get that range down a bit more of Errol Spence and just understand the distance a bit more as it pertains to this fight. In round two, Shawn Porter began to find success with the counter right hand early in the round. Now, if you guys have watched Shawn Porter fight, when he starts to box from the outside and he begins to move, he's very herky jerky. He has these weird movements, and it's very awkward and very hard for opponents to gauge. And I don't care if you're Keith Thurman, I don't care if you're Danny Garcia, and I don't care if you're Errol Spence. You, in some way, shape, or form, because of the way Shawn Porter fights when he gets this way, will have to adjust to him. And it was no different here. Early on, we see Spence having to work the kinks of that out. And he actually was knocked off balance. Not by a punch, but just from trying to avoid Shawn Porter punching from weird angles, herky-jerky movements, things like that. But in this round, Spence was doing decent work, going to the body, just being consistent with his work. But I think this round, Porter out-hustled Spence. He actually did some body work of his own, and you began to hear Porter land some thudding body shots early in this round, along with the counters early in the round. So it was a round where I gave the slight edge to Porter. So we got a round apiece going into the third round now. In round three, this is like where the fight began to become a dogfight. It became a straight dogfight at this point. Errol Spence, in a couple moments, in a couple periods of this round, he channeled his inner Andre Ward. He was throwing some clear low blows on Shawn Porter. Porter is beginning his roughhousing tactics as well, as they both are fighting closer together. So a lot of squaring up on the inside is going on. A lot of digging to the body is going on on the inside. Porter is making Spence uncomfortable and is landing some clean punches. Spence is the sharper puncher, though, who's landing more here. So I think the volume and not just the volume, because volume is one thing, but the precision of Spence. The precision beat the volume in this round from Spence. So I gave him a round number 3 for that reason. In round 4, Shawn Porter opens the round up by landing a good tight left hook around the guard of Errol Spence, which will lead to an avalanche of punches, and the Staples Center went into a frenzy as Shawn Porter just was all over Errol Spence. And he landed all kinds of fantastic punches, left hooks, right hands, going to the body, going to the head. You can tell this round that Porter in this round displayed the ability to hurt Errol Spence Jr. And I think regardless of what we thought of Porter coming in, there was an aura for a lot of people, there was an aura of invincibility around Errol Spence coming into this fight. And this is the round where I think Shawn Porter really took that aura of invincibility away. He showed that Errol Spence is there to be hit. He showed that he has the power to hurt him. And he shows that, look, he's here to fight. He didn't come here to just get a payday and be another name on the resume. He's here to win. So I gave Porter that round, and it was an even fight going into the 5th round. Now, in round 5, Shawn Porter was pressing the action here. Spence handling it very, very well. Always looking to take that half step back, looking for the left-hand counter. And he gets the better of the exchanges in that round. In a round where Porter is known for coming forward. You know, I always joke around and say that Shawn Porter isn't a boxer. He's a rugby player because he has a very rough style, very rugged style. And he tried to get on the inside so he could impose his will on Errol Spence. And in this particular round, in round 5, Errol Spence was constantly, he would jab, he would use that right hand to kind of keep him at bay as to kind of frame his punches. And then he would take a half step back, looking to always land the straight left, or the uppercut or whatever. And in this round, he actually caught Shawn Porter by using the half step going backwards. So I gave Spence that round. He takes the lead going into round 6. In round 6, Errol gets a warning early in the round for holding Shawn Porter's head down. Porter actually was rendered ineffective in this round by Spence for the most part. Spence was landing some solid and effective body punches. Spence is able to use that right hand that lead right hand to frame punches, but not just frame his punches, but keep Shawn Porter at bay. And when Shawn Porter would get past the right hand, he's immediately shooting that straight left hand all the right hook to the body, and it was landing. So Errol Spence, I gained that round as well. So I got Errol Spence up 4 rounds to 2 through the first half of the fight. So far through the first 6 rounds, we've established a couple things. We've established a couple things in the fight to this point. We've established that Shawn Porter can hurt Errol Spence. We have established that Errol Spence is already the more precise puncher, and also that Shawn Porter is going to try to out-hustle and break down Errol Spence as the fight goes on, going into the later rounds. Now, round 7 to me was one of the most interesting rounds of this fight for a number of reasons. This is a round where Shawn Porter was giving Errol Spence a lot of angles, turning him constantly with his feet, changing angles, creating openings for his jab. You would see him turn Spence. He used the up jab a couple of times, once or twice in this round. Came right up the middle of the right hand, that landed. A left hook to the body landed. It's this kind of round. This round actually right here, and I'm gonna expound upon this a lot more in another video. But this round right here in this round right here, Shawn Porter kind of fought like a bootleg Manny Pacquiao, and I mean that in the most respectful of ways. He fought like a bootleg Manny Pacquiao in this fight, in this round, giving him angles, turning him, and it was rounds like that lead me to believe that if Errol Spence ever stepped foot in the ring with Manny Pacquiao, that Manny Pacquiao would whoop Errol Spence, not just beat him, I mean whoop him, because that's what Porter was doing, and Pacquiao, what Porter was doing is what Pacquiao does at the best, at the top level of boxing. Like, Porter is good at turning fighters, he has good footwork, but Pacquiao is on another level when it comes to that. And this is a round where I thought Porter just absolutely was demolishing Errol Spence, just really imposing his will all over Errol Spence. Probably, to me, my humble opinion, maybe his best round of the entire fight. But round 7, great round for Shawn Porter. I gave him that round. In round 8, Errol Spence is catching the wild Shawn Porter jumping in. Well, Shawn Porter's throwing a lot of punches. Sometimes when he throws combinations, he's leaving his chin up in the air. So Errol was able to catch him in many instances in round 8. Porter has had some nice moments in this round, displaying his strength on the inside. And even there was a part of this round where he managed to push Errol Spence off of him and land a left hook after he pushed him off. So that's right. That's Shawn Porter showing his physical strength. In that round, and it just goes to show you how strong he is. But I still gave Spence that round. Spence was, again, he fought the more complete round, sustaining the body attack, catching the Porter with the harder, cleaner, more effective shots. I would have rather been Errol Spence in that round 8. And then heading into round 9, lot of toe-to-toe fighting. Porter having success when he turns Spence. Spence having success whenever they square up on the inside, but Porter has a more complete round because Porter spent the majority of round 9 turning Errol Spence. But again, this round right here kind of laid the blueprint out for what both fighters needed to do to be successful as the fight wore on. Porter, when he's moving and turning and giving him angles, he's having success. When they're both squared up and fighting toe to toe on the inside, Spence is having his success. So I get that round to Porter, but a blueprint was laid there. You can kind of see the future, what they both needed to do in that round, and whoever folded on their game plan, even the slightest bit in the championship rounds, was going to lose this fight. Round 10, Shawn Porter trying to put his stamp on the fight. He's revving up the intensity, revving up the pace of this fight, landing some great punches on to the body, trying to break Errol Spence down, trying to fold him up. Because now that it's round 10, he's at a part of the fight in boxing that we call the deep waters. Deep waters meaning that you fought a lot of rounds, you get really tired, so you hear the saying in boxing, I'm going to take him into the deep waters and drown him. Well, here is where Shawn Porter began to try to drown Errol Spence. And he wasn't able to really knock him down in round 10, but he did some great work, had the better round. I gave him round 10. In round 11, Errol Spence, he's able to keep his composure. You see Shawn Porter, he's still trying to come in. He's throwing lots of punches. He's working hard. He's pushing the pace. He's doing what he can to really just impose his will on Errol Spence and drown his ass. But Errol Spence, you saw him use the right hand to frame his punches, to hold Shawn Porter off of him. And, Shawn Porter, for a couple of seconds, decided to sit there in the pocket. He squared up on the inside. And Errol Spence was able to measure him using the right hand as a rangefinder, and he threw a really good tight left hook in the middle of a Shawn Porter punch, caught him squarely on the chin in the middle of an exchange, and he got a knockdown, flash knockdown. Porter's glove touches the canvas, a clear 10-8 round for Errol Spence. And if you had this fight a close fight, that's probably a round where that's the difference in the fight for you. Going into round 12, Errol Spence wins the battle of real estate and holds up a hungry Porter to win the round. He did a great job of just creating space here, Errol Spence. He won the battle of real estate. He could have worked for State Farm this round. He could have worked for Allstate and all those great real estate companies, because he was able to establish where the fight was fought in this round. He was able to establish where his lead foot was. And because of that, he was able to place his punches where they needed to be to hold off a very aggressive and hungry Shawn Porter. And again, I gave Spence that round 10-9, which leads me to my final score. I had Errol Spence winning this fight by a score of 116-111. It was a great effort from Shawn Porter. I think he took Errol Spence into some deep, dark, and uncomfortable places he has yet to go to in his entire career. But when we talk about the more consistent fighter, when we talk about the fighter that was doing the more consistent work, when we talk about the fighter that was, just winning the fight round by round, it was Errol Spence. Errol Spence going to the body, Errol Spence placing his punches, Errol Spence just being smart in the ring. He was able to really, he showed in this fight that precision is always key in boxing. His precision was his greatest quality in this fight. Maybe he didn't mow down Shawn Porter. Maybe he didn't dominate him like he's dominated guys like Algieri or Lamont Peterson or guys like that. But he showed the ability to this fight to bang. He showed the ability in this fight to remain composed. And I genuinely feel like this will actually help his composure heading in the future, because it's one thing to remain composed against guys who you're significantly bigger than, that don't throw that many punches, like Chris Algieri or Lamont Peterson, but to do it against Shawn Porter, a guy that's constantly in your face, that doesn't give you anything, that always makes it hard on his opponents. Whether you beat Shawn Porter or whether you lose to Shawn Porter, he makes you earn everything against him, and that's what he did. That's what he did against Errol Spence. He made Errol Spence have to adjust. He made Errol Spence have to go to another level of composure. And credit to Errol Spence, he found a way to remain composed. He found a way to land the right shots in this fight, and because of that, he's the unified champion. Now, there was a lot of people saying this fight could have been a robbery. I don't really see it that way. I think the thing is, I think the rounds that Porter won, like the rounds that Porter was able to win, he won them big. Like he didn't win, in my opinion. When I was scoring the fight, he didn't win too many swing rounds. So because of the amount of rounds he won, where he was clearly whooping Errol Spence's ass, I really think that that played a role in how people score the fight in later rounds. But you got to score fights round by round, not emotion by emotion. So. Yeah, a good effort from Shawn Porter. I feel like people got to stop underrating him, disrespecting him, and not giving him his credit. He went in there, and I think he gave Errol Spence, to date, the toughest fight of his career. And and Errol showed that he was a true champion in this fight, and he's the unified champion. I have my opinions on what I think he should do next to his career. I'm gonna voice that in other videos, but for the sake of this video, I'm gonna keep positive. Great performance from Errol Spence, hell of a fighter, hell of a champion, and yeah, man, just an excellent display of precision punching, composure, and just world championship toughness and mettle. So yeah, big shout out to Errol Spence and Shawn Porter for a great fight and one of the fights of the year in 2019. So yeah, you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below. My final score once again was Errol Spence 116-111. I had a unanimous decision for Errol Spence Jr., but Shawn Porter deserves all the credit in the world for putting on a value and effort and taking Errol Spence to some deep, dark, and uncomfortable places. So you guys let me know what you think in the comments down below about this fight. Make sure you take the time to subscribe. Got a lot of great things coming out here on True School Sports. And like I say at every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care, guys.